Classic. It's your A-Main Showdown. Green flag is out. Cale Thomas, Cap Henry into turn number 1 and 2. Thomas gonna slide up in front of Cap Henry. Henry goes to the inside as Caleb Henry side by side with Casey Jedrzejek for that third spot. Now Cale Thomas up top, Cap Henry through the middle, and he will lead lap number 1.
Cale Thomas rim rides in turns 1 and 2. Cap Henry, middle of the racetrack, battle for third. Caleb Henry down the inside, Casey Jedrzejek up top.
Slider there by Caleb Henry as now Greg Wilson pulls a 360 and comes to a stop in turn 3 and 4, bringing out the caution flag. Not sure what happened there. All I saw was Greg Wilson.
Here we go, coming to the green. Single file past the Jamie Miller Trucking, a restart cone. 38 laps remaining, long way to go. Cale Thomas drops down off the banking. Green flag out.
Great start by Cale Thomas. He'll lead him in turn 1 and 2. Caleb Henry right behind Cap Henry as Devin Borden goes to the inside on Casey Jedrzejek. The 45 of Borden gets by Jedrzejek for that 4th spot. Here comes Jedrzejek back to the outside, side by side. Casey Jedrzejek, Devin Borden, Seth Sabo, Trey Jacobs, they're going at it as well, right behind this battle.
Pulling away slightly now, Cale Thomas, Cap Henry comfortable. Here comes Devin Borden. He'll take that 4th position. Everybody rim rides in 3 and 4. Cale Thomas continues to lead. Cap Henry, now the battle is for third. Caleb Henry and Devin Borden.
Behind that battle, Seth Sabo on the top side trying to get around the 11th end of Casey Jedrzejek. Borden up to the 3rd spot as he slides the 101 of Caleb Henry. Jedrzejek holds off Seth Sabo. Trey Jacobs closing in as well.
In about 3 laps, your leader going to get in the lap traffic. And here comes Cap Henry. Henry down to the inside of Cale Thomas. Closing rapidly. Cap Henry on Cale Thomas.
Lap traffic on the horizon for your race leader. Both drivers around the top side of 1 and 2 as Caleb Henry holding off Jedrzejek and Seth Sabo. Those two battling it out right behind the 101. That's for your 5th spot.
They have caught the back of the pack. Cale Thomas, Cap Henry to the inside of Cale Thomas. Side by side, drag race down the backstretch for the lead.
Cale Thomas holds it on going into turn 3 and 4. Henry back to the inside, side by side. Out of turn number 4, Cale Thomas still going to lead this one.
They head into turn 1. Lap traffic ahead. Thomas goes down the bottom this time. Opens up that high side to Cap Henry. He's going to crisscross into 3 and 4. New leader in the 3 and 4, Cap Henry.
Thomas goes to the inside now. Cale Thomas will take it right back. So Cale Thomas still leading this one as Cap Henry goes to the top side. Thomas slides him. Cap Henry to the inside. Going to split the difference here between Cody Bova, Cale Thomas heading into turn 3 and 4.
Cody Bova down on the inside is lap 10. We will officially enter lap traffic. Cap Henry, your new leader on lap 10.
Cale Thomas tries to go back to the inside. Still not a strong run. Keep an eye on the 45 of Devin Borden. The top side is where Devin Borden won a track championship at Port Royal and closing in on this battle for the race lead.
Cap Henry held up by lap traffic that time by. And we got a caution on the speedway. Wow. Right in front of your leaders.
Green flag back in the air. Cap Henry there almost clipping the infield tractor tire as he tried to block the 49X of getting a good run on the restart. Cap Henry leads this one as Jedrzejek and Caleb Henry go right back at it. 3 wide between the 19 of Myers, the 1 of Dussel, and Sabito going at it as well. That right there is for your 10 spot.
Casey Jedrzejek, Caleb Henry duking it out for the 4th position right there with him. Seth Sabo and Trey Jacobs.
Here comes Jedrzejek back to the inside. Trey Jacobs now trying to make a move on the 29 of Seth Sabo. Side by side, though, Caleb Henry around the top. He'll hold on to that spot over the 11 end.
Meanwhile, Cap Henry has built a 1.2 second lead over Cale Thomas. Devin Borden staying within striking distance as well, but Caleb Henry, Casey Jedrzejek side by side for the 4th position.
Nate Dussel to the inside. He'll give the 9 spot over the 15C of Chris Andrews. Joel Myers Jr. now trying to go for a move as well. Andrews was in the dash and right now on the verge of being outside the top 10.
They will catch the back of the pack here in another couple of laps. Lap 15 goes in the books for Cap Henry, trying to make it back-to-back Jim Ford Classic victories. Cale Thomas comfortably in 2nd, Devin Borden 3rd. Then it's a gaggle of cars battling for fourth. Casey Jedrzejczyk, Caleb Henry, Zeth Sabo, Trey Jacobs, and Nate Dussel closing.
Henry around the top side. He'll get around Casey Jedrzejczyk out of fourth. So now Caleb Henry going to try and close in on this battle as the top three are closing in on each other because lap traffic right in front of your race leader.
That time by Cale Thomas closed big time on Cap Henry. He's only about 7 car lengths back now and closing. Cale Thomas, he hasn't touched the top wing until about 3 laps ago. At the drop of the green, Cap Henry put that big, he stumbles on the cushion. Almost disaster for Cap Henry in turn 3.
Devin Borden closing in on the 49X of Cale Thomas. Right now, 18 laps in the book. Cap Henry in behind the 22 of Brandon Spithaler. This is where he had problems last time as Spithaler goes topside. Cap Henry now going to have to try and get around him on the bottom.
Cap Henry strong on the bottom as well. That car very maneuverable. Out front of this one. Next time by, the cross sticks will go in the air. Halfway home for the Jim Ford Classic. Henry gets by Brandon Spithaler, but there's 3 cars racing, 3 wide coming up on it. Cross flags halfway to go. And hang on, Cap Henry, you're going to face heavy lap traffic.
Here comes Devin Borden now. Borden closing in on the 49X of Cale Thomas. Battle for second looms in as Cale Thomas trying to get around the 22 of Brandon Spithaler. Thomas goes to the inside. Devin Borden now right on the back bumper of Cale Thomas.
Cap Henry, he sees 3 cars racing hard for position right in front of him. His lead, 1.2 seconds. Devin Borden to the inside of Cale Thomas. Slider for second. He'll take it in 3 and 4.
Thomas back underneath. He'll take back second. They're right there, right behind your race leader. Cap Henry can't get around the X of Mike Keegan. Here comes Thomas. Here comes Devin Borden. Caleb Henry not far behind.
In the 3 and 4 they fly. Cale Thomas down to the bottom of the racetrack. Cap Henry up front of this one. Lap 23 goes in the books. It's time to go. Does he have the patience? Will he have to move a lap car? Cap Henry, Cale Thomas, Devin Borden, Caleb Henry, Zeth Sabo, Casey Jedrzejczyk.
Cale Thomas now has to get around the X of Mike Keegan, but in front of Cap Henry, still a 3-car battle. TJ Michael, Storp Brubaker, Leighton Wagner right in front of your race leader as Cale Thomas still can't get by the X. They go into turn 3 and 4. He'll go to the top side, so will Devin Borden. Both cars trying to get around as Cap Henry gets by TJ Michael.
15 laps remain in this barn burner. Cap Henry, Devin Borden, Cale Thomas. Thomas has cleared the lap traffic within 5 car lengths of Cap Henry.
Cale Thomas, Devin Borden, as now Borden gets around the X, or he thought so, as they go into turn 1 and 2. Cap Henry can't get around Brubaker. Borden now topside. He'll get around Keegan out of 2. So now your top three are going at it here again. He'll try and go to the outside of Brubaker, gets the run, and they'll finally clear the 35.
Cap Henry, middle of the racetrack. He can move around. The car very movable. Zach Myers has this car on the rail, and he's going to catch 3 cars racing for position again on lap 28.
Cale Thomas now can't get by the 35 of Stuart Brubaker as Cap Henry, Leighton Wagner on the outside. Cap Henry goes to the bottom, will get by Leighton Wagner. Devin Borden, though, closing in on the 49X of Cale Thomas because he still can't get by the 35.
Just 11 laps to go for Cap Henry. Henry gets around the 38 of Leighton Wagner. 10 laps to go for Cap Henry. Scott Boguski, the next car, he's got to get around.
Henry tries to slide Boguski, not going to get by him. Cale Thomas, though, he goes to the bottom side, trying to experiment, see if he can find something that Cap Henry hasn't found yet. Henry going to slide up, contact between Boguski, but Cap Henry keeps it going.
I said you get a little impatient when you're in heavy lap traffic and leading. Sometimes you have to move a lap car out of your way. Cap Henry did it there to Scott Boguski. The distance of a heat race, all that's left for Cap Henry.
Cale Thomas, 2 lap cars in between himself and the race leader of Cap Henry. Devin Borden not going away from the 49X of Cale Thomas. The 101 of Cale Henry and the 29 of Zeth Sabo. Your top 5 are starting to close in on each other.
Cap Henry, 2 lap cars separate him and Cale Thomas. Devin Borden runs third. Fourth, Caleb Henry fifth. Zeth Sabo has caught Caleb Henry to battle for that 4th spot.
Up front, Cap Henry, last time by was over a 1.5-second lead over Cale Thomas. Thomas still can't get by Boguski and the 38 of Leighton Wagner.
Moves Zeth Sabo up to the 4th spot. Caleb Henry fights back the inside. Here comes the 5 flanges in the air. 5 laps to go for Cap Henry in his 17th win of 2025.
Cap Henry can't get by as now Creed Kemenol, DJ Foose, they're battling in front of your race leader. Devin Borden throws a slider on Boguski as now he has no lap cars between himself and Cale Thomas.
Heavy lap traffic for Cap Henry. Cale Thomas closing just ever so slightly. Only 1 lap car separate the top 2. Cale Thomas going to get around this time for Leighton Wagner. Now the top 2, no lap cars. 3 laps to go and heavy lap traffic.
Cale Thomas, that was over a 1.5 seconds. Now it's under a second lead for Cap Henry, the 49X. The Rudzik Excavating, Cale Thomas closing in on your race leader of Cap Henry.
2 laps to go, 3 car length advantage, heavy lap traffic. It's gonna come down to the final 2 laps. Thomas to the inside of Cap Henry. Can't get the pass. The doctor's jacket will be in the air one more time around. They are nose to tail for the lead.
White flag, 3 wide in front of Cap Henry. Where is Cap Henry gonna go? Cale Thomas follows, he gets tight. Cap Henry though down the backstretch. Thomas with a run into turn 3 and 4. Cale Thomas gonna make the slider.
Here comes the flyer.
Out of 4, drag race to the line. Cap Henry wins the Jim Ford Classic. Cale Thomas second, and they'll win the Owners' Championship. Devin Borden in third, Caleb Henry in 4th. But by 1,000th of a second, Cap Henry holds off Cale Thomas and takes home the Jim Ford Classic to end an amazing race. And he'll go up top, Jim Ford Classic. It's Cap Henry. And I told you at the beginning of the night, I'm like, can you at least make this interesting? Well, Cale made it interesting there at the end, and you had to hold on, but you take home a win.
Yeah, I knew we were struggling there. Couldn't lap cars. I was no faster than them, so I knew I was just hanging. And watching the scoreboard, watching the lead go away, and I knew I had to run the top of 3 and 4, but didn't know where to go in the bottom of 1 and 2, or went through 1 and 2, and I heard him getting louder and louder. So just trying to be patient and. Just so proud of my guys. I'm going to end up looking like Joe Ligori crying here in a second. I never thought this would be possible for me, and I'm just so grateful for all these guys back here. They're the ones that make it happen. And all the girls, Erin, Dana, Heather, Judy, just everybody that worked so hard for this deal. I wanted to win the Jim Ford Classic for so long, and last year doing it, and now to do it back-to-back is pretty special.
And we talked about at Attica, almost a 3-year drought of not an all-star win, and now you finish the season with 4 all-star wins.
Yeah, I'll take it. Just like I said, it's just such a great group here. Jeff Ford Motorsports, Jeff, Gary. I got to give a shout-out to Paul Kistler. He does a lot for us, parts and helping us make sure these engines run as good as they do. So, thanks to Paul, Gary Griff, FK Rod Ends, Premier Planning Services, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, Primal T-Shop, Premier Planning Services, Rob Mooney's back here yelling, FK Rod Ends, Berryman Racing Shocks, Elite Wings, Maxim, King Racing Products, Simpson, Ballistic Designs. He did a helmet for me here a couple weeks ago that was a tribute to me and my sister when we were little kids, and we've won a lot of races with since I got it, so I'm just proud of everybody here.
Well, that is your winner, Cap Henry. And we'll head down here to our runner-up, and on top of that, your Owner's Points champion, the Rudzik Excavating 49X and Cale Thomas. And the up and down season that this team and you have had, starting at the Grove and Lincoln, ending up upside down at Lincoln, and now would you have thought a few months later you have a check?
I've put myself in this position before multiple times in my career, even being young as 9. So last year, this race, I had to get top 10 to beat Cap, and I didn't do it. This year, I had the same mindset going in, and did I think that I was going to be sliding Cap Henry on the last lap on lap 40 for the lead? I wasn't even thinking about the points right there. But obviously, I know how Cap drives. I know how I drive. We drove all year last year together. Just beautiful racing. I don't think we've honestly ever gotten together, maybe once just by accident and just a couple love taps. So huge respect for him, huge respect for that team. It was awesome, trying to come back and beat Caleb in the points. And that's what I was, brought back here to do. I was originally supposed to be here. So it just came full circle, especially at the beginning of the year. I had a big opportunity, and I was probably at the lowest point of my life as far as in my racing career. Just you have the opportunity, and it gets taken away. So we did it. We did it. And I just can't thank everyone on this team enough for believing in me. And, we didn't go out lights out and win lots of races, but we definitely ended the year with one of the best average finishes. And obviously we almost won tonight. So we definitely weren't no slouch any given night. But I got to thank Rudsick Excavating and the whole family, Centerline Boring, Smith Titanium, Ohio Heating, Ohio Refrigeration, SFE Services, FK Rod-Ins. Just, there's so many people. All my race gear sponsors. I'm just speechless at this point. I can't believe it. I just appreciate it so much for this opportunity.
Well, enjoy it. That's your second place finisher and the owner point champion of Cale Thomas. And we'll get with third place. And Devin Borden, we talked about ups and downs, motor issues for you as well. And to come in tonight, running around the top where I feel like you earned that nickname before the Daredevil, and you showed it here tonight, making moves that nobody else really wanted to make.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely had a really good car. The guys just got the car really hooked up there in the slick, and that's why I was able to run as good as I did there. Almost had Cale there, going for second. I wish I would have played my cards there a little bit differently, but it's all good. Congrats to Cap, and yes, it's definitely been a fun year racing with all these guys, and I feel like I've, gained leaps and bounds, in experience and stuff, racing on all these slick race tracks over here in Ohio. So it's been super fun, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
And we know you got a lot of great sponsors on this car as well.
Yeah, absolutely. CEI Crane and Rigging, Stair Services, Premier Pallet, Triple X race chassis, and really I just got to thank all my guys for working so hard. Obviously Brian Grove, Ronnie and Sandy Jr., Marty, Mal. These guys just work super hard, week in and week out. And I wish I could have, obviously done a little bit better in the points. I think we ended up like fourth, but I think if it was just a few things would have panned out a little differently, we would have been right there in the hunt for it. So I don't feel like we were. I feel like we were pretty competitive, most of the time, and overall had a decent showing. So we'll, move on and only try to get better from here.
Well, that is your third place finisher, Devin Borden. Don't forget, the top 3 will be in the Hall of Fame for a post-race conference. And now we'll go over to the 101, your 2025 points champion, Caleb Henry. And, man, last year you end the season with a championship here, and now you get to end it again, but this time with a series championship.
Yeah, I've worked my whole life to get here, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. This year we had a big change on our end and didn't really know kind of what to expect, and it definitely has been a season for ups and downs. 2 months ago I was in the ICU, not really sure if I was even going to be able to, finish the championship, which was probably the toughest, position I've ever been in, mentally, physically, obviously, and if it wasn't for my family, my girlfriend, and everybody I had backing me, I wouldn't be able to get to where I was at, this weekend. Doc and Andy, everybody behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see. For the race tonight, I felt like we put ourselves in the right position, I gave it everything that I felt like we had. And when the track's this slow and slick, it's hard to find grip, and sometimes you know, you just kind of got to start up front, which I felt like we did, and we lacked maybe a little bit here and there, and I made a couple mistakes and made quite a few adjustments inside the car, you know, with the lever shock and wing, and kind of played with it, and honestly felt like I was gaining on those guys. There was a handful of laps. I thought I was going to have a shot at it, and I was kind of hoping for a late race restart. I felt like we could get kind of going again, but just never had the chance. So, you know, we raced hard, we raced clean, and that was kind of that. Obviously, this is one race that I circle on the calendar every year that I want to win. And, you know, we might not have won the battle, but we won the war this year. And to be able to add the All-Star Circuit of Champions, you know, championship to my you know, cap is huge. Like I said, I've worked my whole life to get here, and to be able to be finally standing here, you know, it hasn't quite sank in yet, but we're going to go have some fun out in the pits. And you guys are more than welcome to come hang out, party, buy some merch, and keep the party going. So I know couldn't do it with everybody behind the scenes. Thank you.
Well, that is your points champion of Caleb Henry.